The New Orleans Saints made an, at the time, controversial decision to draft quarterback Tyler Shough, 40th overall in the 2025 NFL Draft. Questions were flying at the Saints organization, asking why they drafted a polarizing quarterback, a rather confusing move, whilst in the state they were in at the time when making that selection. The Saints' approach and decision was surprising and quite unconventional, but we're about to break it down and how their little experiment has aged after just one season. For the Saints fans and just the people that know the 2025 offseason super well, you can skip ahead, but if you'd like to be reminded of the crazy events, make sure to stick around. During the 2024 season, Derek Carr had an injury-riddled season, missing 7 games, and rookie Spencer Rattler would be his replacement in those 7 games. After 2024, Derek Carr was the better quarterback, yet Spencer Rattler had showed some good things but was far from proven, just like the rest of the roster. They were not proven and were far from contending status. Coaching turmoil was also in the air as Dennis Allen had been fired in season and was replaced by Darren Rizzi, a special teams coordinator. The Saints followed that up by hiring Kellen Moore that offseason. With Kellen Moore hired, emphasis was now on long-term plans and whether Spencer Rattler was his guy or if he wanted to draft his own quarterback in the coming years. Fast forward to just his first draft, the Saints pulled the trigger drafting Tyler Shough 40th overall, and now had Derek Carr, the veteran, Spencer Rattler, the possible answer, and Tyler Shough, the new kid in town, and another possible answer. Derek Carr suddenly retired due to some injury-related concerns. That left a 5th-round pick that played okay, and a 2nd-round quarterback that could be replaceable under circumstances to take over the quarterback room in 2025. I call Tyler Shough replaceable because there's a world where the Saints have Arch Manning or any top 5 pick quarterback the next year, and that'd be a much bigger investment than a 25-year-old they drafted in the 2nd round. Spencer Rattler showed his experience in the offseason and ended up beating Tyler Shough for the starting quarterback job. Rattler went 1-7 as the starter, and despite small things he did well here and there, he was benched in week 8. Coincidentally, though, the benching came at just about the halfway mark through the season, and that makes me want to believe that the Saints were actually planning on a half-and-half season when Spencer Rattler wasn't doing all that great. But let's talk about why Spencer Rattler was benched and replaced. Rattler did a couple things that were detrimental. This issue was likely developed through the success Rattler had when scrambling and also the lacking pass protection in 2024. On one side of the play, it's an Omaha concept, and on the other, it's a 2-man spacing concept. Spencer chooses his right side and reads through that, only progressing as far as Levante David. He's in a good spot in the pocket, and look at the spacing backside. Shaheed is open and ready to be that backside answer for him, but Spencer instead runs through and is tripped up almost immediately. But perhaps the most problematic thing on Rattler's tape was the sequences and plays that'd kill drives. Rattler didn't provide a spark too often. This is a perfect example through 3 downs. First, misses the deep shot with an open guy underneath. This is an advantage, basically an RPO, and it only gains a yard or so. Spencer, now on 3rd and 9, immediately goes to check down after ditching his frontside read early, and it got open to make matters worse. I'm sure this drove play callers crazy. Shough was immediately the better option at quarterback, giving the offense more life, being a more chancy player, and setting a higher bar for the entire offense. Tyler Shough won 5 games and only lost 4 as the starter, even winning 4 games in a row at one point from weeks 14 through 17. This is actually the game Tyler Shough replaced Rattler. It's 4th down, and Kellen Moore has this DAG concept called. Shough hits the back of his drop and with anticipation nails this throw to his receiver and completed the pass to convert. He's giving his guy a chance and giving his offense more than a check down to convert on a money down. There's no drop off from Rattler to Shough in terms of arm talent and skill throwing the football. I prefer Shough's arm in totality to Rattler's, but I do think Rattler was better on the run than Shough was. Shough will change the arm angles and send some line drives at his receivers though. There's decisiveness and impressive strikes that are just so hard to beat on Tyler's tape. The little time he takes to put the ball in his receivers' hands coming out of their breaks is so hard to cover, especially in zone, but just without defenders attaching to his targets. Shough can also process really quickly. He's a guy that points his eyes at defenders before anything else to react off of them. He does a good job ruling things out and moving off of concepts that don't match up favorably for his guys to win. Versus the Rams, Kellen Moore calls this snag concept. Shough's smart and puts his eyes on the defenders in the area. If I had to guess, I'd say he's reading the secondary player, backpedaling, and also the other secondary player, the safety, being the one relating to number 3 from deep. Whatever he saw it, and in half a second, he hit the throw in space. Not the best final result, but that's not the point of the example. Though Shough shows impressive speed processing, he can move too fast, missing open or viable reads. Shough has this habit of assuming too. He'll assume because a defender moves left, right, or back that he'll have this or that, and sometimes that assuming nature can lead to wrong assumptions. This is a clip with a bad read and Shough assuming he won't have the double slants concept. Dropping back, I almost know for sure he had his eyes on the strong safety of Fitu Melifonwu. Shough probably thinking the down safety completely takes away both slants. But the Dolphins brung in nickel pressure and vacated the space underneath, and Shough just assumed he didn't have it, making a bad read, and is forced to throw the ball away after pressure closed down on him. Another negative, pretty much stemming from the last category, Shough will scatter his eyes a lot and move around sporadically. He drops with eyes on linebackers or safeties, and then off what he's seeing from those players, he'll assume he has throws and loads up before actually seeing it open. This is a representation of it here. He'll drop with his eyes downfield, readies and pass the ball before getting his eyes fully on his target. Attempts the pass but has to pull it back and ends up getting sacked. He assumed he had the answer after his eyes were far from his target, where other quarterbacks had actually progressed down to their checkdowns. In my opinion, Shough should probably just slow it down a little and actually be more careful how he's using his eyes. They can be weapons and he already does fine misdirecting defenders, but he also looks to his read one a lot straight off the snap, and sometimes he'll scatter them losing rhythm with his eyes and progression. Also, while we're still on the subject of eyes, I'd like Shough to get his on a check down or through his progression fully more often. He frequently gets through his first 2 or 3, but limits himself after that. This one is a real cherry on top. His eyes are just down the middle the whole time. He leaves a decent pocket and succumbs to pressure. Now we can back it up and see when he could have thrown the curl route, which looks like it's on the front side in this attack concept, and then the check down, of course. Imagine he got his eyes on those places. Something else I was also a little annoyed by was the precision as a passer. It wasn't up to the standard of the good quarterbacks in the league. I love me a good, catchable, well-placed football thrown by a quarterback, and unfortunately, I think that's something Tyler Shough needs to work on. Not only is this the wrong type of pass to throw here, but it's also ages behind his guy. This is a clean pocket, an on-time throw with no major imperfections. So why does he send a flatter throw instead of a touch pass to lead 89? And why is it so far behind and even a little short? My last little gripe I have is the baby steps taken in this offense with Tyler Shough's play selection. By the way, it is completely possible that double slants is just Tyler Shough's favorite play and he asked for it to be called as much as it was, but this offense was so quick game heavy and needs to broaden its quick game menu if you're going to run that much of it. So many double slant plays and so much of the same quick game over and over again. A shot in the second round of the draft may just pay off though. Shough was added under interesting intent and circumstance in New Orleans, but he may just work out as the long-term option and make some people look really smart. Yeah, and play enough quarterbacks, one of them ought to work out. We'll see if that method popularizes it. More teams take chances on quarterbacks in the middle parts of the draft, relieving pressure on the organization to stick to someone. Say like Bryce Young's situation. After how he played, there was still that obligation to stick with him because what they invested into him, even with how bad he was playing. If Shough were playing that bad and couldn't figure it out, the Saints could, this is all hypothetical, but they could reevaluate quarterback and draft one just that next draft because there's not that same major investment in Tyler Shough or a middle round quarterback. And obviously, best case scenario is Shough becomes the franchise quarterback as a second round pick and you look like a bunch of geniuses. But where it stands now, Shough is far from an elite quarterback in this league and needs to take some steps to be better if he wants to capture a franchise role in New Orleans. I do like the fit in Kellen Moore's offense, and to be honest, it could look so much better with more continuity and time together, bettering relationships on and off the field. Another offseason, more time working with his offense and his skill players, Kamara healthy again, more time for this young and good O-line to develop in front of him, and the improvement of talent around him. All of this can heavily benefit Tyler Shough. Funny enough though, he was actually vibing with Rashid Shaheed more than any other option in his offense, but they traded Shaheed away so early in Shough's time playing. He was then piecing it together with practice squad elevations and lesser known names, but worst of all, Shough was especially struggling to connect with Chris Olave. They need to work on that synergy with one another on and off the field and find ways to get Olave more involved and make him happier. With how good Tyler Shough was and how much there still is left to improve, you got to be excited and I can't wait to watch it. Anyways though, that will be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, go down, subscribe, watch the past content on the channel. It would mean a lot. I'll see you guys next time.